Okay, so here we go with problem number 11, write the augmented matrix for each system of equations. I went ahead and I set up my shell of a matrix so that I didn't have to worry about that. And so here what we're doing is we're putting our elements in here, and you're really just looking at the numerical coefficients. Be careful. This column will represent our x's, this column will represent my y's, and this column will represent my z's, and over here is going to be my constants. So if it's not in the proper order like B, well then we need to make sure we have our guard up and rearrange it. But this one looks like we have x, y, and z, a number, x, y, z, a number, in each of our equations. So let's get started. So row 1 would be 2, 7, 1, and then 4. And look, I'm just using my numerical coefficients, being sure to include their sign if it's a negative. So this would be 1. I don't need to write it too big. I still have to do 2 more rows. 1, negative 2, negative 1, negative 4, and then of course my last row would be negative 1, 1, 7, 5, and so this would be a 3 by 4. Let's look at B. Notice B appears to be shorter, so you're thinking, is it a 3 by 4 or is it a 3 by 3? Well, it is in fact a 3 by 4 because we do have a mention of an x, y, and a z, and so we need to have our guard up, making sure that we put it in the right column. So look at equation 1. We have we have an x and we have a y, but no z, so we need to make sure we put a 0 in that space. So we have a 2, 1, 0, 3. Look at our second equation. We have a y and a z, but no y, so we need to make sure we put a 0 in the y spot. So we have 2, 0, 1, 3. And our last equation is missing the y. So we have, oh, and look, the z and the x are out of order, so have your guard up. That would be a 1, 0, 2, because that's what's in front of the z. Remember, this is your z column, equals 3, and it's still a 3 by 4 if you're looking at the size, and we have, of course, some zeros for the missing element. Let's look at 12 real quick. 12 has it given to you as a matrix, and it's asking you to write the equations that represent this. So row 1 represents equation 1, row 2 represents equation 2, and row 3 represents equation 3. And of course, these are my x's, this is my y column, and this is my z column. So let's go ahead and put this together. We have 3x minus 3y plus 6z equals negative 9. Here we have 2x plus 3y plus 2z equals 5. And the last equation is 7x minus 5y plus 2z equals 2. And that's all it asked us to do, was to go from the matrix to an equation.